title. We only give out the first one time. It's happening right here before your very eyes. FirstKiller versus Diaz for the title.
Rocket League fans, it's the first North American 1v1 Grand Final, and if you want to see two regions clash, you might not have to wait until the LAN. We have got North American's hero in FirstKiller, and we've got Diaz, who has made his way over from Brazil, but FirstKiller will open the scoring.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish you'd asked me who I thought was going to win before FirstKiller scored this. I promise I'm not being influenced by that goal. I think he might take this one. Just looking at how Diaz struggled against Chronic earlier, looking at how dominant FirstKiller looks today, I think he might be able to do it for North America here. Will the invasion, Diaz, coming over from Sam, trying to take his spots away, be able to stand up to him?
Diaz has slowly been playing against leveled up Americans here in this tournament. He's able to take down Wavy to get into the semifinal. Then he gets Chronic, the next hardest level. Well, now, can you pass the GOAT of North American 1v1s? You're going to have to do it if you want a bunch of ticket to Raleigh.
And Diaz, in his semi-final match against Chronic, looked like he was second-guessing himself ever so slightly with his aerial game. If he's second-guessed himself against Chronic, I think he's going to be very much guessing himself against FirstKiller, who's playing some unbelievable Rocket League right now. And he's slicing and dicing everybody. Here he comes trying to get Diaz as well. Add him to the list of players who've fallen for that left, no, just kidding, going right move he keeps pulling out, whether it's a shot or a flick. I mean, he's just got such quick directional changes.
FirstKiller is going to want to play this game fast. It's been clear. That's what he likes to do. He likes to boom the ball. He likes to move quickly. He likes to beat you with speed. Diaz is going to flick over the top to get his first goal. He likes to beat you controlled. And you might hear that and think, oh, he must be one of those ground dribblers. No, he likes to beat you controlled from the skies most often and just get reads on you defensively. It'll be interesting to see as this series goes on. In the first couple minutes, they've been playing FirstKiller's pace, but Diaz on the board, maybe he can start to slow things down a little.
I can see that you've chosen Diaz to win this one. You reckon that, not that it's a script or anything for anyone who's just panicked right there, but you've picked Diaz as a guy you think you're going to win it. Why do you think he's going to be able to pull off his plays? Is it stuff like this, perhaps? The double resets? What do you think it's going to be for Diaz that'll give him the edge in the final?
Diaz has looked like he's been in free play at times against everybody else in ones. One of the biggest reasons is he's been down to play. Now, FirstKiller, he's had times ever since he became the best in 1v1 that he maybe took a slight break and focused on threes. Ever since Diaz has come to the top of NA1s, he has been non-stop grinding. He has been ready to play. He has been trying to get as much practice as possible to set him up for this position. Sure, there's never been an RLCS 1v1 before, but if Diaz was going to prepare for it, he did the right thing. And now he's got the biggest test, one that he's been waiting for, and he's been so calm too as well. When he's been in control of games, it doesn't seem like he's panicking too much, which means maybe he'll be able to play from behind and try and shrug off deficits. Right now, he's in one, and Diaz is in his own back corner. FirstKiller's going to have to leave. Diaz into a ball carry that he will pop up into an air dribble. FirstKiller goes back down to the ground. He's not going to get away with that. Diaz will lob it in.
It is going to be the physical play from Diaz that ties the game. FirstKiller using that jump to get back down again. But no recovery could come through. Diaz just tipped him on the landing. And it was going to be tough to get back up in the air that quickly anyway. 2-2. Diaz not getting goals yet with his signature plays. It's been kickoff goal, air dribble bump, and a flick. You know, it's more standard stuff out of him, but we forget sometimes that he's got all of that in his back pocket as well.
You cannot get to this highest level without being able to do everything. You know, a lot of people like to complain about certain players' kickoffs. You can't just win off kickoffs. You can't just win off your air dribbles. You can't just win off of any one thing. If you want to be the best and make it to this LAN, you have to be well-rounded. And usually you have something that is your absolute best move. That is Diaz through the air. FirstKiller's pre-jump in early. I think we didn't see that from him. We saw him go down to the ground in the first air dribble, but Chronic was flying through the air and intercepting him like crazy off the demo here. Diaz is going to get a goal.
That's a really smart play by Diaz. He knew that FirstKiller was going to stop that air dribble, so he just made sure that he got back to the ground first, because then he can demo FirstKiller when FirstKiller lands. That leaves the net open. FirstKiller foolishly spawned at the wrong side of the box, so he couldn't get the save, at least not in time, but nice play by Diaz nonetheless.
Diaz with kickoff win to the side wall. Launched in, one out. FirstKiller, great pre-jump save. Wants a demo, didn't get it. Diaz puts a top shelf. Is there a counterattack available? Diaz sees it coming, so he retreats and uses his boost to get the catch. Can he prevent a possession from FirstKiller? It's going to cost him all his boost to clear it away, but he is going to try and chase it down. Now he'll back off. FirstKiller with space. What can he do through the air? It's not an awkward, or it's not an easy setup. It's an awkward one. He cannot get anything going, and Diaz will challenge to take it away.
Oh, what a save, FirstKiller. Just barely gets back in time to keep this at a 2-goal deficit. On the previous play, his ceiling shot setup or his wall shot setup was just a bit too high. I think he maybe got a bit ahead of himself, hit the ball too hard. You're not going to see Diaz make that mistake too often. He's so delicate. He's got such a soft touch with his setups to his air dribbles. Always able to find that pixel before the ceiling bounce. Now he's starting to work into space. Not much between these guys, but Diaz finds a tough corner. That's the best goal we've seen from him so far.
Yeah, this is a good sign for him going forward as he gets the reset, rolls through, and the placement and power here. FirstKiller, the kind of defender to make reactions as fast as lightning, but not going to be able to stop a play like that as Diaz building a bit of separation here after, I think it's 5 straight, right? Since I believe FirstKiller went up 2-0. Yeah. Diaz has really gotten his momentum going. He's starting to play his game, and so far he has not been discouraged from his aerial gameplay like Chronic was able to do to him earlier. But FirstKiller, with a minute left to go, speed as he dashes up the side wall. He long shots it. It's just barely off target. So close to getting a quick goal.
Diaz going to try and counter-attack now. He doesn't need to go all in at any point here. FirstKiller's the guy who needs to take all the risks. Diaz just making sure to get 50-50s when required. Well, you know, FirstKiller came out with some violent movement, rapid movement around the field that maybe caught Diaz by surprise, but he's adjusted, and Diaz can go as fast as required. He can keep up with anyone, and that might be the test in Rally against the guy who averages the fastest speed out of any player at RLCS lands he attends. But Diaz takes game 1, and he does it with a 6-goal run. Now, how will FirstKiller respond to this? It was looking pretty good for him until about halfway through.
Yeah, Diaz has found his stride. He's found his free play, and we're going to need to see FirstKiller scare him in some way. You know, you could tell that Diaz was starting to search. A nice little mix-up on the kickoff when it's already too late, but at least we know we're going to see these on occasion. Nice to say. I mean, all this doesn't matter, but it's still pretty good movement for FirstKiller. That would have been a goal. Diaz hits it to the ground, but Diaz is unafraid, and he's so far.
Diaz is starting to take over.
Best place to get control is immediately off a kickoff, and we will start at a diagonal, but it'll be Diaz who gets everything he could have ever wanted. He gets boosted in ball. He's going to slam an immediate shot, force FirstKiller into net, and put him back in the spin cycle here as he goes to ceiling height for a reset. Has the flip, fakes it, goes low, and is on the board.
And he's just cashing in on that investment from the last game. I mean, when you've got a reset top corner the previous game, the opponent has to respect it. And now he goes low with the wave dash to put it underneath FirstKiller's pre-jump.
FirstKiller needs first possessions. Otherwise, going to have a tough time, and he's earned one here. He might even be able to put it directly on target. That'll do. Yeah. Diaz is a little bit more fancy, but this one's worth just as much.
An important goal for FirstKiller, not just to tie the game, but just to remind everybody that he can actually do something in the kickoffs here. That's, like you said at the start of the game, the best way to take control of a 1v1 match. And he's got another one here. This one's not going to be a direct shot into the goal, but it's the next best thing. He's got 100 boost, he's got possession, and he's got a chance to make something of it. Doesn't get an opening. Well played by Diaz to turn this one around.
Oh what? My goodness, Diaz. Oh, I can't believe he almost scored that. I did not think there was an opportunity to shoot, and he gets the perfect doink towards the net. Now into the skies.
That was so cheeky. I can't believe that he found a shooting angle there.
Diaz now backing away. FirstKiller has to just pinch it and give Diaz control. Diaz into the skies. FirstKiller jumps. Diaz tries to back off, and he does instantly start using that boost to push himself back. He's thinking recovery early on in that dribble.
Here comes another big aerial play. Diaz going to the ceiling with this one. Can he recover? Can FirstKiller recover? Yes, he can. One play by FirstKiller to actually go back after fully committing and get a clear. Now Diaz with the 50-50 with the reset at the same time. and the dunk to go up 2-1.
It is such a good way to go for 50s in general. I think you get a bonus in that those wheels can often just glue the ball to the space that they're in. But on top of that, you get a reset, and that makes your wave dash recovery just a little bit faster than the other player. It's a double-edged sword. That's not the same, but doesn't matter. You get what I'm trying to say. As Diaz now up 2-1. On FirstKiller is going to catch him out. Diaz thought he was in a good spot. It's a pull shot save, and now Diaz is looking at an open net.
It's going to be too easy for him. FirstKiller really took a big risk there, and he got punished for it. And he had no boost left whatsoever, so, I mean, you can't get a lot more all-in than that. This is a really important moment in the match. Right here is where this game can go one of two ways. FirstKiller can start to stabilize and start to come back, or Diaz can run away with it like he did in game one. Oh, it looks like it's going to be FirstKiller here. That's massive. He needs to stay in touch here. He can't let this go past 2 goals, or his confidence is going to be taking a big hit.
Diaz just must have expected FirstKiller to back off on the ball. He gets up quicker than Diaz, and Diaz on low boost floats down to the ground while FirstKiller counterattacks. Now FirstKiller is taking Diaz over the orange half. High lob. Diaz makes the save, but he falls awkwardly on the crossbar, so he is not going to have a lot of boost to deal with. FirstKiller just booms the ball right away, and now we'll go get a steal. Can he keep Diaz pinned back? He's going to push it out to the midfield. Nice recovery pre-flip from Diaz, and he might have ended it right there.
Yeah, smart play by Diaz. He baited a shot. It wasn't the right shot to go for. That's a good save by FirstKiller on Diaz. Far post shot attempt. Still 1 goal in it. FirstKiller with the bounce dribble. He's got the flick over him to tie the game. And it's all about the timing here. The burst of pace catches Diaz off guard.
Diaz trying to set up his shadow, kind of snaking around, deciding which angle he wants to make a challenge in. It all happens too late. As FirstKiller ties this one up. He's kept himself in this. Diaz into his own back wall. Just going to switch sides of the field. Yes, FirstKiller directly underneath him, trying to get a demo. FirstKiller is likely going to have to back off here at some point, and now he does. Goes for a shadow as Diaz underneath the ball, quicker to the ground, and will try and use the recovery to keep attacks going. That's what he is really fond of doing. He doesn't need to score on the first time. At 50, can he find a way to score this? FirstKiller on his way back will get 100. It's a reset from Diaz. He misses, and FirstKiller will take control.
Well, sometimes those work out. The accidental misses can turn into goals. FirstKiller looking for the bump, but Diaz, who flies off the inside of his own post to make the save. He had to fight through contact there, and now he's going to need to survive on low boost. But FirstKiller's forced to back off. Didn't have the direction on the play to make the boost advantage work.
Diaz sticking around to make sure FirstKiller goes for the air dribble. He wants to try and stop him on the goal line. By staying close, he does manage to get back and make the recovery. Now these two vying for control. Diaz, low on boost, should be able to switch the field. FirstKiller going to try and pinch it away. Diaz gets to the pinch first as a counter. Now trying to take a power shot. Can he get to the net in time? No, FirstKiller still recovers.
I mean, it's just crazy. The smallest opening in one of these matches, and the ball is absolutely flying on target. Another retreat from FirstKiller, just letting Diaz come towards him. Boost is stolen. Diaz on the turn, looking for the opening, looking for the demo and the exit as well, but he sets up FirstKiller more than anything with that touch. Here comes FirstKiller in the air, reset by him. It's easily saved by Diaz. Now how's the bounce? It's not the fastest, but it's good enough for Diaz to make a play with. He's going to bail out of that reset attempt again. FirstKiller matching Diaz excellently here. We're end to end with flip resets being traded.
Nice look from Diaz here. He stares down at FirstKiller to get an idea. Reads, am I going to beat into this ball? I think I am. Races and gets there clean early. No touch from FirstKiller. Puts it on target. In the final minute, Diaz is going to be playing from in front.
And that was one of the first big reactions we've seen out of FirstKiller in a while. I think we saw maybe one of his eyebrows move in his entire semi-final match against Evo. About half a centimeter, but he looked a bit confused on that play. Probably wondering, how am I supposed to get this guy out of position? He just seems to have endless boost, endless momentum. And this is what most of the players feel like when they play against FirstKiller, but no, that's how he feels on the pitch.
Diaz with a rare take straight down the center of the field. Normally he's very willing to switch, and it's actually going to pay off. He undercuts FirstKiller in the back corner, and he's got a 2-goal lead.
And there again, FirstKiller just shaking his head ever so slightly. He's just thinking, how am I supposed to beat this guy when he's beaten my own game? I mean, this is usually the type of game that works well for FirstKiller. When the ball's moving quickly around the pitch, he can flex the speed, flex the mechanics, but every now and then somebody comes along who can challenge him in this game mode that he created back in the day. He made this meta in NA1s where everybody's moving at supersonic all the time. But Diaz is the one who's thriving in it.
This is a great backflip. FirstKiller coming to challenge. It does the same thing again where he gets his wheels on the ball, creates a big wall, as well as moving himself back in preparation for the follow-up. Diaz securing this game. Now, we have seen in 3v3, this is a no-brainer timeout. I feel like almost every team is calling timeout after these couple of games, but everybody has been playing it differently. Do you think FirstKiller feels like he needs a break or what?
I think he might. I think if he's really thinking about it, he should take one. Even if it's just to psych out Diaz. Diaz is on one right now. If we thought there was going to be any
break, he just wants to go next. It's what he's always done, and he'll head into a diagonal kickoff here in game number 3.
This is a must-win for FirstKiller. This is a game where he needs to stop Diaz from dictating where the match is being played. Diaz has outshot him twice in a row, and he's outshooting him here as well. He continues to create enough pressure to cause one of the best players in the world to crumble. Diaz again in front.
And another first possession in his favor. I'd have to imagine with the way he's shooting, he's probably got the edge in kickoffs. Seems like it's more often than not Diaz in control, playing at FirstKiller's net. He tried to grab that boost, and now taking it down the other way. Did pick up the boost. Flick gets sent into the back wall. FirstKiller on the curve dash decides not to use that speed. Instead now waiting out for the right time to take this ball away. Diaz wanted to maybe catch a demo. FirstKiller trying to buy himself a bit of time, but it's going to be Diaz with space. He's going to switch the field. This is what he loves to do. He takes his sweet time, says, I'm going to go get my clean setup, the one that I really love. He's trying to read FirstKiller out of the air, but FirstKiller actually comes off the ceiling and makes the save.
Oh, it's not too long ago, FirstKiller missed a mid boost, and it's given Diaz full control. Just one small mistake, and now you're defending against Diaz for as long as he wants. He just keeps attacking, and that's just tilt there from FirstKiller. I mean, he's going absolutely nowhere with that one. He's just hit the near post wall like he's playing 2v2 or 3v3. I mean, maybe he could double that on target, but even that's pretty speculative in my opinion. Got to think right now, he's just sick of playing defense simulator against Diaz.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. When you don't get to touch the ball as often, you never get to control it. Sometimes you just want to slam it. It's been a while since you've had the chance to touch it, and this time FirstKiller slams it against the back wall. He's going to have a chance as he sets up. Ooh, Diaz trying to chase him down. FirstKiller does get the 100. So Diaz, no demo or boost. A little ground pinch to actually reset the field as he's going to go side wall. Diaz late up the back wall. FirstKiller has to get a reset after the bounce off the ceiling, and he'll pinch it down to Diaz.
Yeah, not many options there for FirstKiller. Tried for the pinch across the goal. Diaz is clean past him again. FirstKiller can't get close. This is an absolute masterclass by the guy who's been dominating NA1s. He's been dominating SAM 1s for a bit before he came up to North America as well. He's unquestionably one of the best in the world at the moment. And the Grand Final, Championship Sunday, has not proven to be a difficulty for him like it has in 3v3 alongside his teammates on complexity.
3-0. Said FirstKiller needed a big one here. Decided no timeouts. It's gone as poorly as possible, but it's a long game. 2 minutes. FirstKiller gets around Diaz, and that can be the start of a possession that he can turn into a goal, and that'll be just that.
Oh, just like that, FirstKiller gets one. It looked a bit awkward for a second, but that touch there middle is not what Diaz was expecting. He also didn't expect FirstKiller to just go for this, so great moves by FirstKiller, catching Diaz by surprise. And now he needs to make something off of this. He has to build on that goal. He can bump Diaz here and get an open net for himself. He looks like he's trying to do just that, but Diaz recovers beautifully. I mean, you just can't get this guy off the ball.
Yeah, the perfect dash off the bump, and then the pre-flip to control it. This time, no dash is going to save him. No boost left over. He cannot use it to push himself back down. So when you get launched in the air on 0, you're going to have a tough time making a play. FirstKiller still had boost to work with, and he will eventually get his goal.
And that was the first big mistake we've seen out of Diaz. Even with no boost, you'd expect him to be able to flick that clear. He rushed it, just flipped underneath the ball, gave it away to FirstKiller. He's right back in control. Shoots first time. He's trying to look for FirstKiller free jumping high there. Even though it's not worked, that's a pretty good investment by Diaz. Oh, FirstKiller's caught him. That's going to be a tie game. Demo by FirstKiller as Diaz plays his fire a bit too dangerously there. Turned right into it.
Yeah, he had boost as well. If he expected the demo to be coming, he could have used it to push himself away, but he even landed and turned back in towards the net. FirstKiller had that read on a day where it's been pretty tough to demo players on occasion. Now, tie game. FirstKiller to the back wall, has to go in and out of the net. Diaz is just waiting for his time, and he finds it to take it away.
That's just so smart by Diaz. So many fake challenges, so many fake 50s. Even there as he's turning, making FirstKiller think that he's going to commit, going one way. Almost like a step over as he goes infield past him. And this is all from the kickoff. Diaz turns kickoff pressure into goals on a completely different level than anyone else in this tournament. FirstKiller not able to survive. It just feels like we're going through one of two options. Either Diaz dribbles the ball around for a minute, or he just scores after a quick exchange. Here's the extended exchange. Diaz with the, again, that flip reset 50. FirstKiller stands strong in front of that one, but he's half boost now. Diaz has an advantage.
Yeah, Diaz, he can extend these possessions forever. I've been paying attention to it. This possession started off the kickoff. This is the first possession I would say that Diaz has had. FirstKiller has yet to take it away from him. He's continuing to have to make save after save. Sure, FirstKiller's getting touches like this one to push the ball out of his half, but really it's Diaz who's dictating everything that's happening, and he will continue to attack. This is all one possession off the kickoff. FirstKiller makes a nice save, but he gets bumped out, and Diaz gets the goal.
And to go all the way from a kickoff where you just lose it slightly, play defense for about 45 seconds and then get bumped to concede. I mean, it's just so annoying to play against, but Diaz is playing it perfectly. He's not giving FirstKiller any openings. And he's re-establishing the lead. Can FirstKiller respond?
Diaz is immediately on this ball as well, even in a situation where he doesn't get boost advantage. It seems like he's earned the first possession. FirstKiller maybe had a chance at possession, but he lobs it away. Diaz has control. You cannot give Diaz more freebies.
Wow. I mean, FirstKiller didn't get power on that clear. He probably knew that he was in trouble as soon as he touched that ball. Diaz, with perfect execution, punishes him again. We're back up to a 3-goal difference. It's about to be a 3-game difference. And this is looking like maybe the first once grand final in RLCS that won't go to game 7.
This is the toughest test for the script. FirstKiller, nice save. He wants to keep it alive because he gets it across the nets. Even Diaz is going to drop a what a save in the chat on his way back. He's impressed with FirstKiller, and a minute left to go. It is 2 goals. It is very, very doable, but it just feels like the momentum is still in Diaz's favor.
It really does. This is close enough, despite the fact that FirstKiller's been playing so much defense. He won't feel like he's had a lot of control over where or when this match is being played. He's still in this one, but Diaz taking the ball to the back corner. It's about that time again. Final minute, back corner. Barry wakes up, and we might get a little bit of front court action before heading back to the corner again. Diaz could do it right here.
And
this is
corner.
no anything to go up against. The time is being wasted. FirstKiller's coming in for a demo attempt. He misses. It was a good try, though.
And this is barely even different. That's the thing. Diaz is prepared for these situations because this is just how he likes to play. FirstKiller, what a pre-jump. He probably needed to try and just redirect that
back corner Barry, yep. And back corner Barry secures the game. Why risk another attack that might be countered when you can simply put the ball in your back corner and win 100% of the time? I mean, Diaz is just, he's a machine. He's outshot FirstKiller. He's outpressured him. He's completely controlled the match, start to finish. And FirstKiller does.
He has been such a fun player to watch, and this is his chance to guarantee he shows up at LAN. There is still that last chance qualifier for complexity. He can make it with his threes team. FirstKiller will be there either way. Diaz has an opportunity to make sure he gets to play in front of the crowd. He's got one more win to do it.
And first kickoff goes his way. This is where FirstKiller's had to play pretty much the whole series, and he does well, really well actually, to post pitch that one out. And now looking for the demo. FirstKiller chases Diaz away from the play and wrestles back control.
Yeah, Diaz gonna back off. FirstKiller has a possession. He's just gonna try and roll through, and it works. We saw this not working for Diaz against Chronic, but FirstKiller is gonna find a goal.
That is a huge last touch on the ball there by FirstKiller. Air rolling into it for that extra bit of power. Maybe a mistake by Diaz. He's trying to intercept that pretty far away from his goal line. I mean, that's obviously an incredible, it's an insane shot by FirstKiller, but it is always easier to save those. You're trying to make an interception the closer you are to your goal line.
Diaz close to his goal line right now as he makes a low 50 save, trying to escape the corner. FirstKiller is going to take it away, looking to try and get a quick play going. Now it's Diaz back the other way. He's got FirstKiller rotating back to net. That's going to be a counterattack. You need to be better than that if you want to get away with it against FirstKiller.
That's a mistake. Diaz wanted the tie game. He rushed it. And this is exactly what FirstKiller needs. He just needs Diaz to drop off a little bit. I mean, it looks like Diaz is in full control. It looks like he's just far too good for FirstKiller today. But the reality is that if Diaz drops off by 10%, FirstKiller is right there with him. He's so close. And Diaz is not going to drop off yet because he's just peeked on him off his own back corner. He air dribbles at full length of the pitch, as he always does. And look at the placement with the finish.
It is so tough. When he has that air dribble on target towards the right side of the net, if he does decide to fake it, it is going to go all the way to the right side, but he gets so much movement on his flip reset that he sends it all the way back to the other post. You have to defend the entirety of the net on a dribble that started all the way in his back corner. It can be that tough to defend against him. He is going to get a demo here. Can he get back around the ball and shoot it? He should be able to. FirstKiller not spawning anywhere close, and we're already back to tie.
That is just heartbreaking for FirstKiller. He thinks he can turn and make a play, but there's always another trick with Diaz. Even if he's got possession and a boost advantage, Diaz still supersonic, still dangerous. FirstKiller backs him up again. What's it going to be? It's going to be the just challenge straight into the ball from Diaz. I feel like he finds those openings better than anyone else in the tournament that we've watched. Diaz just knows when he can full send it to the ball. He doesn't wait around, doesn't wait for the opponent to make a move. He chooses when the interaction is going to happen, when the 50 is going to go down, and there's another example of it as he just toe pokes the ball home.
A very brief moment that he spends playing on defense. We were playing over here in the orange half, something that we don't see very often because of what you just said. Diaz, even when he doesn't get first possession off kickoff, seems to be one of the best, stealing it away, forcing you to play the game he wants to play. And he's going to win this half. Going to force a save at a FirstKiller, but it's not going to happen. It'll go top right.
What a dodge out Diaz. FirstKiller tried to clap him back into the corner, but Diaz with a quick reverse. Not only dodges the bump, but also sets himself up for the top corner finish. 4 goals unanswered. Diaz is speed running the grand final. He seems like he's just about finished putting in his details on the booking for the trip to rally as FirstKiller forced to make another heroic last-ditch save.
And gets a demo, and that's key because Diaz can keep you locked back there forever, but the demo will allow FirstKiller to play a bit of offense. He thinks he's going to catch Diaz moving out upfield, maybe booming over the top of him, but Diaz recognizes that, recovers, makes the save. And now we're back to Diaz on offense sequence. It's one we see before, and back corner barriers here halfway through as Diaz goes to his own back wall. FirstKiller, I can't see on his POV probably because he's underneath him as Diaz goes stealing height, has a reset, flips back to the ball, no touch, and FirstKiller makes the save.
Well, for once, Diaz does not make contact at the end of his patented sequence where he dodges, gets one extra touch, and then the flip reset. If you're trying to air dribble like Diaz, that's how he does it. Doesn't make it easy, but he's making this look easy. 5-2. Diaz with a simple flick follows through to pit maneuver FirstKiller, who looks just lost in the pitch right now and completely out of ideas.
Diaz is making so many plays happen on zero boost. It doesn't seem like a big boost disadvantage seems to affect him at all. He knows how and when to use his flips to make something happen. As this kickoff is going to go to his back wall, and he is going to play off the stealing. His ability to turn everything into a perfect air dribble flip underneath this one. He's going to put it in the left side of the net. It's perfection from Diaz.
Everywhere on the pitch, it doesn't matter where he is, he can set an attack up from any wall, from anywhere. You're never safe when you're up against Diaz. 6-2, 6 goals unanswered. Diaz looks like he's going to be NA's representative in rally. He's going to be waving the Brazilian flag, and maybe if he wants to farm some more fans, he'll bring a USA flag as well.
FirstKiller Gets one. Diaz tried to walk it in on a fake flick. It gets dunked over the top. FirstKiller was throwing his camera around on that kickoff. He's feeling the frustration, but not so much that he lets in a easy goal. He's ready to go again here with tons of time. Again, it's the context really so far of how the series has been going that makes it feel like Diaz has already locked it in.
Oh,
this is definitely a retrievable deficit as FirstKiller passed to himself off the back wall. He's got a reset of his own. Diaz makes the save into the crossbar and should have the counter.
what a save by Diaz. Haven't had to watch him play much defense in this grand final. But when he does, he's world class at that end of the pitch also. He's attempted to unite the regions. How do you beat the French with lots of allies? Can Brazil and North America combine? Diaz has been on the grind. When he came over, he was not the best in North America. He was good, but he wasn't the best. But after a year of playing against players like Wavy, FirstKiller, Daniel, Chronic, AJ, the list goes on. He now looks unstoppable. And he's showing the world what he's all about. The deftest of touches leaves FirstKiller completely out of ideas and out of the game. GG's, congratulations, says FirstKiller. And I think it makes sense that we go out with Diaz hitting a full pitch air dribble.
Diaz has done it. I can't believe it. It's domination. He breaks the cycle of game 7s.